Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Rick the Rasslin Dad and his boys, late night television. It is time to stick in the boots and stretch them out, full Nelson style. We've got a very special podcast coming to you guys. I know you were a little worried because it's 10:51 p.m. right now. And I've got to introduce my co-host for the podcast because we've got somebody who is on the show with us tonight, and it is currently 11:51 p.m. where they reside.
Yes, sir.
Sitting alongside me is my co-host of shame, the body, Jeffrey David Rutledge.
Wasn't DG do something like
this? Yeah,
this?
something weird. Don't do it.
Okay.
You can't see him, but you will hear him. He is the newest United States Olympic medalist. The man, the myth, and the legend, the Bulgarian agrarian.
Not doing a good job.
Okay. Tervel, the skinny arms, big neck Dlagnev. Tervel, say hi to your viewers out there.
What's up, viewers? Tervel, skinny arms, thick neck Dlagnev here.
Here's the deal. For those of you that are listening and you can't see him, it's because he's in Columbus, Ohio right now, and Tervel is currently gaming out as we speak. We've told him to mute his video game while he takes his time to call in for this podcast.
He's coming to us in a very official way. We have a microphone pointed down here. We have FaceTime pointed here. The audio is going to the microphone. Basically, he's that Harry Potter book that we see right there.
Yeah, I placed Harry on top of Buckbeak. Tervel, what's Buckbeak again?
Buckbeak's a hippogriff.
Oh, yeah, hippogriff. Buckbeak. So we got Harry on top of Buckbeak the hippogriff, posing as Tervel Dlagnev for this podcast. But you will hear him because he is live via Columbus, Ohio, high technology streaming.
I think very similar. They look very, very similar.
Tervel, dude, congrats, brother.
Thanks, guys. I know, 7 years. We got there, though.
We got there, man. We were all there in London 7 years ago, man. It was a bit of a somber day, but we were enjoying ourselves in London as well. Man, since then, so for those of you that don't know, yesterday a huge announcement came out that the IOC will be stripping Artur Taymazov of Azerbaijan. Will be stripping his Olympic gold medal. It's actually his second one. 2008 was tested positive, and now 2012. And now Tervel Dlagnev of the United States of America, who have behind this Harry Potter book, is now taking the bronze medal. So big news in United States wrestling news.
Olympic bronze medalist. Tervel, let's get started with this. Why is you're an Olympic medalist now? How does that change your life? I don't know why I started with why.
I mean, listen, guys, it's the second it happened, everything changed.
Really?
No, it hasn't at all. I mean, it's kind of been a joke with Kirsten, my wife, and it's we joke around like she'll say something, and I'll be like, "Hey, you're talking Olympic medalist now. You need to check it out." So we have fun with it. Obviously, it's an honor, and obviously, it was a dream of mine to be an Olympic medalist, Olympic gold medalist. But I mean, 7 years ago, I am getting more excited about it. I think people are getting me more excited because at first it was like I didn't know if it was cheesy to be excited. I didn't know if it was kind of like taboo. Well, you're not supposed to be excited about that. That's kind of weird. So I was kind of in this weird zone of it's pretty cool, but also it was 7 years ago. So even if I would have won the Olympics by now, I would be over it. But it is kind of cool that now I'll get an Olympic medal and it'll go down in history and it'll be a part of my career forever. And hopefully that living the dream medal money.
Yeah, let's get that cheddar. So when did you find out? When was the exact moment that you realized that this was going through?
So I was in a staff meeting and I started getting texts from a bunch of people saying bronze, ? You congrats, bronze, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what the heck? So I go right on Twitter and then a couple guys had direct messaged me, like the IOC article that was, kind of shared by NBC Sports. And so I was like, oh, snap. Because and I don't know if I told you guys, but there was suspicion of this because this Russian guy on Twitter who kind of is in the know in their country, I follow him because of that. I follow him because he's in the know. I follow him because he usually, has like projected lineups to tournaments and who's wrestling in what. So I kind of keep up with, Russian stuff through him on Twitter. And he he sent out this thing like, oh, another London gold is getting taken away. And I messaged him and I said, like, can you tell me who it is? And he just texted me back like a smiley face and a bronze medal emoji. And so I was
very
like,
cryptic.
So I didn't know. Yeah, very cryptic. So I didn't know. I mean, at that time I was like, oh, he could probably messing with me. And then
what if the bronze medal emoji was not what he meant, like not what you took it as, and it was like, yeah, he's like, Tamazov gets the bronze now.
Yeah. They're just moving them around.
Got him. Hey, so what's this guy's name? Can you disclose that, or is that?
Yeah. I mean, on his Twitter handle is Ivan_freestyle wrestling.
Okay. So apparently this guy knows what's going on.
Oh yeah, he's in the know. He knew right away. And so then a couple things. So then a couple months later, the silver medalist from my bracket gets his medal taken away. So then I messaged Ivan. I said, "Is this what you were talking about?" He said, "No, be patient."
Wow.
So I said, "Okay, that was wild." But so then a couple weeks ago, Geshemi lost. The Iranian that beat me for bronze, Geshemi lost in the finals of their trials, and he retired. And there was a picture of him, like his opponent was like carrying him on his shoulders, and he was waving to the crowd. And he sent me this like a screenshot of this with someone saying, "That's okay, Geshemi will retire, but will soon be an Olympic gold medalist." And he's like, and then with like a winky face, and I was like, okay, so I mean, at this point, if he's lying to me, this is a very long con.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Super
committed.
long
like, we're finding this guy and we're gonna get him.
He's committed to this con. But I mean, but again, it's pretty much like it was out of sight, out of mind until he would like send me some message, and then I'd like get real excited, but then like nothing would happen, so it would be out of sight, out of mind. So it kind of caught me off guard yesterday when I was just in staff meeting and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh," and I was like, "Let's go."
Wow. So how many text messages did you receive?
Oh, I got like 75.
Oh my gosh.
80 text messages. It was hot fire, bro.
Just super hot fire.
And if I remember right, so the way that it was announced was first, the way that I saw it was Flow Wrestling said Tamazov stripped of gold medal, refiguring of medals will be at a later date, basically. They don't know what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden, USA Wrestling posted Dlagnev is bumped to bronze.
Well, yeah, so I guess the controversy... So I talked to USA Wrestling today. They called me because yesterday it was like... They were kind of like radio style. I was like kind of weird. Like everyone congratulated me except my governing body.
Yeah, right.
I was like, do you guys know something I don't? Like, why are you guys like not like telling me stuff? But... So they called me today. They're like, "Hey, congrats. We've just been working with UWW, and IOC has told them to restructure the medals." And they said, the chances are I'm going to get bronze. I mean, it's pretty much I'm going to get bronze. The biggest the biggest weird thing is the finals. So who's going to get gold and silver? Because both finalists tested positive. So you got two bronzes,
right?
And so they're going to have to, because if they do it. Just by who lost to who, then Iran will be the Olympic champ and Makov will be the silver. But if they do it by classification points, Makov had the pigtail, and so Russia would be the Olympic champion, and Geshemi would be silver. So they gotta go to their bylaws. It's kind of a weird case with the final stuff, but I'm pretty much. I mean, they were saying it like we don't know what medal. I mean, I'm pretty much blocked into bronze. I don't think I can jump either guy.
Well, not unless they test positive.
Yeah, right.
Because those. Dude, come on.
So how does that work? Did you get tested at the Olympics, or was that?
Yeah, so the Olympics tested even if you wrestled for a medal, which sucks because when you lose your medal match and get tested, you are pissed.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I was sitting in doping control. Like, I'm obviously not doping. I just lost. Like, get me out of this room. And I was the last one out. Just pissed.
Oh my gosh. That is awful.
So, why? Okay, so now, here is a very likely situation. Obviously we know about all the Russian state-sponsored doping. I mean, shoot, Russia almost wasn't allowed to compete in the 2016 Olympics. Let's say Makov gets popped for banned substance. Do you get the silver?
I mean, at that point, I think what they'll do is the other guy. So now Kazakhstan was the other fifth, so he would move up to bronze, just like me.
Oh, I see.
But if Makov gets tested positive, at that point, they would probably do the same thing because we were both equal, just like two bronzes. So they'd probably go classification points. And I think. Let's see. I had a tech first round, so I would probably, if Makov gets positive, I would probably go up.
Wow,
that's insane. So
that's insane. By the end of it, in 15 more years, I'll probably be Olympic champ 2 times.
Just wait it out, brother. Just wait it out.
84 years old. You're like hobbling, like you have like 2 broken hips. They're like, you won the Olympic gold medal.
They freaking wheelchair me out.
Dude, we gotta have some sort of celebration for this, though. For real, what are they gonna do? Are they doing anything in Columbus?
I mean,
TOSU.
I don't know what they're doing, but I know. As far as I know, Zeke Jones. So I'll give you a little insider information. Zeke Jones is also very vested in this situation because he was a national team coach, and there was certain things there was certain honors and contracted agreements per medalist and per team finish. So this could have implications on him as well. So he was very gung ho. He was like he's the one who actually got me real pumped up. He's like, we're gonna do something real special. I think they should do it at the Olympic trials. I know that's a long way off, but they should present your medal. NBC's already there, and I was like, freaking let's go, Zeke.
Let's go. Let's go, Zeke. Get it, Zeke.
He said he talked to Rich Bender today, and it was they said that they were planning on doing something special. They're just waiting for the allocation of the medals. They keep saying we don't know what medal I'm going to get, but I'm pretty sure I think that's very wishful thinking. I can't jump Gashemi. I just don't see a scenario where that would just be a very heavy injustice because he beat me.
Unless he was doping.
Well, but
which it seems like. I mean, if anybody, Makov. I mean, it's hard. You hate to put people there, but I mean the Russian athletes, right? I mean, Taymazov was a Russian who defected to Uzbekistan. Yeah. So, that Russian tie kind of, but that wouldn't bump you up any, I guess. Interesting. So, tell us what it was like with Taymazov. Was it something did you ever suspect that, hey, I mean, I pull up a picture of this guy on Google, maybe you should do that. I don't know if you've got the capabilities of doing that.
Yeah, I can do that.
But you look at the guy and you think, yeah, that guy's on something. When you wrestled him, did you ever suspect, this guy is not normal?
Dude, I suspect that...
Well, I mean, you never felt the guy. Tervel's felt the guy. Tervel's beaten him.
What if he's just super weak?
Tervel.
Oh no,
man!
Looks
I'll tell you what, I'm very surprised because he was just soft.
I mean, he had inflatable muscles.
Oh
that
man,
one, the blue singlet,
this one right here, this one?
Trap. Yeah, that one.
Oh my goodness, what are they feeding those traps?
No, but I would say so 2 sides to that. So one. It's a very understood thing that he dopes. So I think he was very like, I mean, everyone, it was a joke in the wrestling community amongst foreigners, especially the Soviet countries that like were close to the situation. They say stuff like, "Oh yeah, Taimazov, he just gets, he gets very good vitamins."
And then, get me on some of those vitamins.
I know, and then they would like laugh, like, "Haha, yes, very good vitamins, haha." So like everyone, I mean, it was pretty much like, yeah, this dude dopes, because it was like he would just go on he would be so jacked at the Olympics and the Worlds, but then the year after the Olympics, he would be like 235, and then the next year he would come back. He would take that year off, then he'd come back again, a 270, shredded, jacked.
Yeah.
So it was just like, come on, but I will say, when I touched him, yes, he was the most. Now I don't know if this is genetic, because I've also wrestled the silver medalist,
Modmashvili. How do you say that?
Modmashvili, yeah. I also wrestled him, and he was very strong, but he felt human, right? So like you could touch him, like skin, like people feel like their skin moves when you touch them. They're as hard as muscle is.
Mine moves a lot.
Yeah, exactly. but the reality is, this dude, like, when I thumb blocked him, I remember the first time I wrestled him, and I like grabbed his shoulder, just like collar tie, and I was like, what the like, it just like nothing. It was like, you feel like you touched like a wall.
It just broke your thumb off.
It didn't feel like a human body.
Speaking of this non-human body, I'm gonna throw it up on the screen right now for our viewers to see. Dude, what are they feeding those traps? What?
I know, right?
He is huge.
You can't thumb block one of those? Actually, that does make for a pretty good little thumb block handle right there. And then he flexes and just blows your thumb joint out.
That blows your thumbs off.
Okay, hey, so when was the first time that you wrestled him?
I wrestled him. So the first time I wrestled him, it was in a tournament in Ukraine.
Okay.
And I wrestled. He beat me. I kind of chickened out. Like I was kind of like scared of him a little bit. He was just like that's the first time.
Well, and he was at that point in time. He was what, two-time Olympic champ at that point.
Yep, two-time Olympic. And there was
an
like
Olympic silver as well, right?
Yeah, there was just like, I remember. He was winning the Olympics my second year wrestling. In Athens. So he was just, it was some wild situations there, but some circumstances. But I was like, what I was doing was like kind of chickened out. So I lost that match. I just remember like not putting in full effort. So then I wrestled him at the Worlds that same year, and I was like, gosh, I just have to like go after it. Like if I get my butt kicked, whatever, but I just have to like not like just cower to this dude. And so at that point, I was like, all right, so we scrapped it out. And this is when, so that's when I beat him. But so in the third period, I slipped my leg out of the clinch. These were the old rules. And this is, so like I injured, so he was like shooting. He was like drop stepping, kind of just like knee over toe penetrating into my head. And I was like head blocking like you do normally. I was just like head block, because I had to like finish the clinch timer. Before I won the match, and he jarred my neck so bad that like by the time the semis rolled around, which was like 20 minutes, like I couldn't look side to side. Like my neck, and then it got super bad by the time my bronze medal came. Like I literally couldn't like get my neck touched, and I had Modmashvili for bronze, and that was a grind. He was trying to snap my head off. And I was like,
is it safe to say your back was injured in 2011 when you wrestled him for the second time?
My neck was big, was like bad.
Let's just say your central nervous system was jacked up after that.
So like, yeah, it was seriously a 6 month. Like I remember my neck hurt. I remember because it was a very weird, bizarre healing. It was a very bizarre situation because I literally couldn't drive, like I couldn't like with a head outside shot or I couldn't drive through with my neck, like pretty much what all wrestlers need to do.
One of the main like things of wrestling.
Exactly. So like I couldn't drive with my neck without getting a stinger, and for months. So the Worlds were in like September, and it was still December, and I remember like I was like super discouraged. I was like, this dude like ruined my career.
Jeez.
And what ended up happening was like I went to Uregan. So that's what so I went to Uregan, and we like, I got off the plane, and I remember we were like, we just got there, took a day, and then like sauna that first day, went to practice. So we were like doing a training camp in Ossetia before we were going to Krasnoyarsk for Uregan. And I woke up and I went to practice, and my neck didn't hurt. It was literally like one day, had stingers for 3 months. Every single time I used my neck, wanted to punch the mat every time it happened. And then the next day, it never happened again. So it was really bizarre, but I mean, I'm very thankful it happened, obviously. But yeah, it stuck around for a long time. It was kind of a grind.
Then you freaking whooped his butt in the World Championships next year just to send him a message.
Yeah. Well, no,
we're talking about after.
Oh, sorry.
Stay with the story here.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to get...
because I beat him, he sent me a message by injuring me.
He's like, don't think about beating me again, bud. Jeez.
He said,
okay, so take us to 2012 now. All right, so you wrestle. Let's go from match number 1. Who did you beat in the first round in the Olympics?
First round in the Olympics was Egypt.
All right. And we got a tech. You got a tech there, right? We, as in me and you.
Yeah, we were there. Coach Rutledge and I.
I think this is a great time.
Coach Rutledge and I were there, so we take 80%. I'll take credit for Tervel's wins. You take credit for his loss.
Tervel, I want you to tell the people right now who told you were going to be an Olympian before you became an Olympian. Say, I don't know, 2003.
Hank Harmony.
Hank Harmony. No.
Yes.
Not that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, did you say that?
I said it. I said it, and I wanted you to be on the air and tell everybody how I just have a crystal ball.
You just believed in me, man. And
I believed in you, and you know what? If you believe it, it comes true. If you dream it, you can do it.
The funny thing is, you're one of my best friends, and you're like the only person that didn't text me congrats yesterday.
I'm the only person that didn't. For the record, I jumped in a hot tub with my cell phone, and so I literally texted Tervel from my wife's phone and called him and left a voicemail and said, "Call me," and
that's
he
not
didn't
a thing.
do it.
That's not a thing.
That is 100% a thing. Check your voicemail.
He actually deleted your phone number.
I did have a Lincoln number that called me that I didn't have. But it was like, I remember it flashed on my phone for a second, and there was no voicemail, so I thought it was a butt dial.
Oh, gosh, dang it.
It probably was. It was probably his freaking phone shorting out in the hot tub is what it was. Hey, here's the funny thing, guys. I'm looking at a picture right now of Artur Tamazov.
He looks way different there.
Back when he was wrestling Kerry McCoy in 1992, which would have been...
No, that's 2003, bro, not 1992.
What is it?
Yeah, it can't be 1992 with Kerry McCoy, but it does say that to be.
It says that. It's got the date wrong on here. It's got the date wrong on this. And he looks way smaller. Now, granted, I get it that people weight train and lift weights and get bigger and whatnot, but like Kerry McCoy looks significantly bigger than him in this picture, and it's like, okay, did he really strength train? I mean, he's balding practically in this picture. He's starting to bald anyway. He couldn't have been that young. How young was he at that point in time?
No idea.
I don't know.
Point in all that is he freaking doped up after this, and now if you can see a picture of Tamazov currently,
we already did. You already showed him.
No, currently.
Oh, currently.
Like today, he weighs about $180 soaking wet. So, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, so this whole process started in January, right? I mean, from the article that I read from Flow Wrestling, it showed that he was notified that he failed the test in January, and then he's kind of prolonged it till now, basically saying it was left in my body since 2008. I've already gotten my 2008 medal taken away. I shouldn't be penalized again.
So he basically admitted then to doping, huh? Like he admitted that he at some point in time doped, right?
I don't believe so.
Well, first of all, I don't think there's anything in there. I don't think there's anything that can stay in your body for 4 years.
Yeah, and that is ultimately
Gum.
that is ultimately what gum. That's ultimately what they decided was that.
I mean, that's
ridiculous.
I mean, I talk about grasping for straws.
Yeah, that's
like
crazy.
you might as well have just been like, "Come on, please."
Yeah. That is crazy.
Well, so the John Jones thing, that was an issue that was he said was in his body for 2 years, and then the UFC allowed him. But basically, they said that's the UFC, that has nothing to do with the Olympic, committee, and this is our ruling that it's highly unlikely, and there's no research that would ever suggest that this could stay in your body for 4 years. So, but yeah, so give us, okay, so Egypt first round, you got a tech fall. In the quarterfinals, who did you have?
I had the returning world champ, so the guy that beat me on 2 clinches the year before in the semis from Belarus. His name was Alexei Shemerov. So he beat Makov in the world finals the year before. He beat me in the semis, 2 clinches. Couldn't move my neck. That was the only year he ever beat me, too, which stinks.
Well, because then you beat him in the Olympic quarters the next year, correct?
Yep, I beat him in the Olympic quarters. I beat him every time before. I beat him I beat him for my first worlds in Denmark in the quarterfinals, or in the round of 16 actually. I beat him at the Medved. I beat him. The only time he beat me was 2 clinches. Oh no, he did beat me once in Poland that year. So like in the span of like 6 weeks, he beat me twice. The only times he beat me.
So, man, your side of the bracket at the Olympics were absolutely stacked, because then Timazov must have beaten Gashemi, right, in the quarters?
Yeah, he beat Gashemi in the quarters.
And then he had you in the semis. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, he looks really gassed, that Tervel was going to have a good shot at beating him in the semis.
I know, but then I got pinned in the first period.
Yeah, but then you got cradled in the first period.
That would have been nice if I could have just wrestled my whole 6 minutes.
Well, he went steroid. He steroided out for
he went
a minute
mode.
and a half. He went Hulk mode for a minute and a half, locked up a cradle, and dude, if you would have busted out of that cradle, he probably would have just fallen apart like a sack of wet noodles.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, so give us.
Sorry, not
give us
to like
your
bring
feelings.
up just bringing up old
I want to go
bad.
bad. I want to go just real bad right now. So what did it feel like? Give us kind of your Olympic experience. So basically, you came back, you wrestled Gashemi for third. You lost a tough one to Gashemi. Gashemi was somebody that seemed like he was somewhat of Dlagnev kryptonite, I believe we were talking about before.
Easy.
He had quick feet.
Yeah.
You had a tough time getting. He had a good chest wrap. But just kind of a bad style matchup for you.
And not only was it a bad style matchup, it was like a bad luck matchup.
Yeah.
Because honestly, so he beat me in the Olympics. I had his leg, and to push him out with like 10 seconds, and we switched places. Like he kind of wrestled out of it. We switched places, and he just like shoved my shoulders, and I stepped out.
Yeah.
And so that was. But then he beat me pretty outright in the World Cup the next year. He beat me, but like it was weird. So then I was dealing with like some weird health stuff the next year, and it was like, so he beat me in the Olympics in a match. No one knew who he was. Then he was kind of the new Iranian on the scene. Beats me last second, third period. He won the first period. I won the second period. At World Cup, I had like this weird I had like 3 months of like vertigo. Because I think I like injured a ligament in my neck, but I didn't know what it was at the time. And I just had like literally woke up with vertigo every day, and it was like driving me nuts. But like, so he beats me outright in the World Cup. Then I had like walking pneumonia when I wrestled him in New York at the Rumble at the Rails at the Beat the Street.
Kind of the Beat the Streets event.
Yep. And then I kind of got over my sicknesses. And then I went to Worlds that year. I beat him. The only time I ever beat him, I beat him in the quarters of Worlds. I beat him like 7-0, which was the tech fall at the time. And then since then, we wrestled again the next year. And here's where it gets like more weird. So those were more excusey, kind of like it wasn't like was like I was sick, I did this, but like this is when the matches get weird. So the next time we wrestled, he beat me 1-0 on a shot clock. Like I've never seen a match besides that match end 1-0 on a shot clock. Like they always give a second shot clock.
That was like the whole unspoken thing.
Yeah, like I've never seen. And there probably has, but I personally have never seen a 1-0 freestyle match.
I've never seen one.
This is I know we've got differing views on freestyle and folk style a little bit, and this is maybe not a freestyle folk style thing. This is more of a corruption thing, but referees were corrupt and currently still are corrupt.
Well, I would make the argument that no matter what style you wrestle, when it comes to international competition,
you're right.
You're going to have corruption, and it doesn't matter if if it's curling in the Olympics or whatever, there's going to probably be international corruption.
Yeah, but so I hit this 1-0 grind, which never happens again, or as far as I'm concerned. And then I came back from my back injury. So after my back surgery, my first match back, or my first tournament back, I go to France, usually a week tournament, thinking I'm going to tune up. Iran sends their number ones.
Dang it!
And we draw each other first round.
Quick tune up.
Oh my gosh!
That's like Yanni and Zayn right there.
You can't, but you can't just catch a break and forfeit out, in the finals like old Chamizo did. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we catch each other first round. So we wrestle, and again, here's where not only the kryptonite, but here's where the luck comes in, because not only is it my first match back, but I create the only action. So he gets a shot clock. So again, a weird thing happens. So he gets a shot clock. Then I hit a low single. I double off, and I kind of roll him across. He's kind of has me in a chest lock. I have a low double, and I roll to my back, kind of almost like the same position that Kale got 2-0 going to him against Moon Jai.
Yeah.
In the Olympics, pretty much the exact same position, low double, and I kind of cartwheel to my back.
Yep, I remember it.
Well, they go 2-2. They go 2-2, and we come out. So the first period ends 3-2. He gets a shot clock. I create the only action. He goes 2-2. Second period, I shoot 6 or 7 times. I don't get a shot clock. Nothing happens. I lose 3-2.
Yeah, it was, I felt like my impression of him always was he was a counter wrestler. And he didn't really, it was so many matches where I saw him either win on just it just felt like, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't, he almost like he didn't deserve the win in a lot of matches. But, I mean, that's a bad way of, saying it. But he was a counter wrestler, right?
I think we lost him.
Uh-oh. We lost him. And we're live. Is your phone dead?
It's showing it's charging, but it's kind of going in and out.
Well, we're gonna have to get Tervel back on the line here, folks. For those of you who are listening, we're getting a fascinating recount of his international wrestling career. He is newly minted Olympic bronze medalist, for those of you who are just jumping on the live stream. Here's what we're going to do while we're waiting for Tervel to jump back on. If you're watching and you have a question that you would like Tervel to answer, comment it in the comments section. It looks like we got a handful of people watching live right now. So comment your questions to Tervel. Once we get him back on here in a second, we will have him answer those live questions. So
you got a charger that works?
Yeah, I'll get you a charger. But you got to fill the airspace
here
absolutely. While I get the charger. So talk a little bit about Tervel's rivalry with Geshemi and being there in person, maybe.
So Keenan and I were able to go to London and watch him compete. It was pretty awesome. His training partner, J.D. Bergman, kind of hooked us up with tickets last minute. And we're able to go out to London. Pretty awesome experience just to go to the Olympics and to watch the very best wrestlers compete live, and one of your very best friends was competing. But it was heartbreaking. I can remember, after that tournament, Tervel was just in shambles. It was a difficult experience for him to train your whole life and dedicate yourself to this craft and do everything that you possibly could to be the very best, and for this one day, in the matter of a span of a few hours, you were basically defining this moment. And I remember it was really heartbreaking for Tervel, and I think he grew a lot from that experience, because I think he kind of dived deeper into being a father and a husband to Kirsten, and I think that's what I admire most, is the way that Tervel bounced back from that experience at London, and how he kind of used that experience, which could have been derailing, to help him to become a better dad, a better father. And since then, we just called a wrong number.
I think I actually hung up on Tervel's mom right there. Or potentially either that, or potentially his sister, maybe, who has his old phone.
One of the two is pretty good, though. So anyway, it was cool to be out there. It's hard, man. I mean, these guys train, they dedicate themselves to this one day. It used to be a one-day event, and to come up just this short, and now 7 years later finding out, a lot of people are saying that 7 years later, what a shame it is that he wasn't on the stand, and it is, it stinks that he was kind of robbed from that experience, but at the same point in time, to get that validation, to get that medal, and to know that, you were once one of the very best in the world, it doesn't change his life. He was joking about it before, but still pretty awesome.
Well, it changes your life a little bit. I think what happened is Tervel's phone died.
That's what happened.
Scoop. So Tervel's phone died, so we're waiting to get him back up. I would say, it does change your life a little bit, though. I mean, it is interesting because Tervel kind of made light of that. He talked about how, it doesn't really significantly change his life a ton, like on his day-to-day life right now, currently. But being an Olympic medalist is a massive thing, and for whatever reason, one thing I've always found interesting is that being an Olympic medalist is way more prestigious than being a world medalist. And they're the exact same tournament with the exact same competitors. The World Championships is just as difficult to win as the Olympics, in my opinion.
If not more, because on that day, there's actually way more.
There's more competition. Yeah, there's more competitors in the World Championships.
Qualify.
So, I don't know. It's just interesting. The Olympic medal is such a prestigious thing. It's going to allow you to have a platform to talk to kids, to, and Tervel already has that, obviously, but it gives you even more. It provides more opportunities, more places where he can put himself in front of people and share his story, share his message. And I don't know. I mean, it's just, it's going to change his life, I think, maybe actually more than he realizes, possibly. It would be something that I think is interesting.
I think it's much less than if it would have happened 7 years ago. And that's what a lot of people are saying.
Yes, that's true. I agree with that.
That
you back, big guy?
How much...
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry. My phone died.
Yeah.
That's right. I thought it was my phone dying. Hey, here he is flipping the phone the wrong way. Hey, an iPhone charger, or the iPhone speaker is over here, man.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no,
well,
right,
iPhone
actually.
6S game.
Sorry, my bad.
Are we still on the air? Are we still live?
We're live. We just kept it rolling, baby.
We just kept rolling.
We kept
we're
the show
discussing a
going.
little bit about how
You guys are
this
such professionals.
We
Yeah,
are.
we are.
We're very professional with the.
Hold on. Can I get back to my last match with Kashemi?
Yeah,
Yes.
please do.
We will. Go
He
ahead.
tech fouled me in like 15 seconds in the Olympic semis.
You suck.
Okay, now that was when you, correct me if I'm wrong. So we're talking 2016 Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Which,
I
just
was
for the
back.
fan, this would be nice to set this straight on air for our 25 viewers that watch our show. What most people don't know about Tervel's Olympic, Tervel took some flack after, the Olympics because his last two matches he basically couldn't wrestle. But what most people don't know is that before the Olympics, before he ever even stepped on the mat to begin with for his first match in the Olympics, for his basically week or more prior, Tervel, you're going to have to correct me on this, Tervel, all he could do, he couldn't get on a wrestling mat at all. All he could do was walk on a treadmill because his back was in the state that it was in.
No, yeah, I didn't wrestle live since I wrestled 4 times live from the Olympic trials, which were April. So like 3 months, I wrestled live 4 times.
Yeah, I mean, it just, people don't know the story. They don't know the full picture. And that's fine. That's the way sports work. That's the way life works. But, it obviously progressively got worse, and you had to strain. I'm sure you got yourself to a point to where your first couple matches, you kind of could grit it out, but it's like in wrestling, you have to strain, and you have to put pressure on your back, and you have to use all those muscles and that bone structure, and it's gonna give out at some point in time, and that's kind of what happened in your last two matches, if memory serves me correctly.
Oh yeah, no, it got to the point where I was like pretty spasmed. I was like seizing up, like my core, all my muscles were spasming all over, like front, back, sides, and like I couldn't get my stance. I couldn't really breathe well in my stance. So like I just didn't want any like permanent like paralysis. Like at that point, I was like, am I gonna like blow my spine out and like not be able to walk? Like, so I didn't even want to go out.
Well, and you had surgery prior, correct? Or did you have surgery after the fact?
After.
No, no, prior.
Prior.
So that I had surgery in 15. That's why I gave up my 15 spot.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. So
Zach Ray competed. That was in Vegas.
Yeah, no, I mean, and so Gishemi, who did Gishemi wrestle in the finals? That Olympics?
In the Olympics, Agul.
Oh, that's right, Agul. Yeah,
Agul
and you wrestled Petrashvili for the bronze, who ended up beating Agul in the World Championships just last year.
No, well, Iran beat Petrashvili won him, but he beat him 2 years ago. Last year, Iran beat him, and Petrashvili beat Iran.
2 years ago, yes, my fault.
Okay, hey, we've got a comment. One of the things we did on Dead Air was we asked for people to ask questions. So the first question is from Ryan Bauer. He asked, "How would you have matched up with Gable Steveson in a match?"
Oh,
let's let it fly.
I'd like to think.
How would you, or how could you currently?
Ooh,
let's throw that in there.
All right,
give it to us.
Give us skill set versus skill set.
You probably can't
here.
say that. That's a little. That's
no,
asking
you can
a little
say
much.
it. You can say it. You
much.
Beat him down. Let's go. Come on. This is Rick the Rasslin Dad. This is where we're open.
The head.
It's hard to say. He's really good. I think. Obviously, I'd like to think it depends on when in my career.
Okay. Well, let me use a little
at the
bit
absolute peak. I would have beat him. I think.
Yeah. Let's just. Okay. Now.
Like him in college and me in college, he tats me up.
It's because you're just an easy D2 guy.
That's not true, you D2 lowlife.
Hey, your senior year, you did pretty good at the Olympic trials. What'd you go at the Olympic trials after your senior year?
1 and 2.
Damn, you
that's
suck.
Regardless of that.
No,
during his senior year,
but yeah, I got third at the Open that year, so I felt all right.
Yeah. Regardless of that, during his senior year of college wrestling, he beat 1 through 7 of the D1 ranked heavyweights or whatever.
Yeah, but this kid's like going 3-3 with the current world bronze medalist. Like,
no,
I had no place being on the mat with like Tommy Rollins and Mako my senior year.
I get that, but I also will say that I think so that actually brings up 2 points here. Syllogistic reasoning.
Love syllogistic
reasoning. Yeah, I do. I'm great with syllogistic reasoning.
Huge fan of syllogism.
Yes. Tervel never lost to the Gwiz. And Gwiz has now beaten Gable, obviously.
But that's also hard to say because, Gwiz, he's gotten older, he's gotten better.
Right, yeah.
I wrestled him his senior, like an official match, his senior year of college.
Yeah.
What was the last time we wrestled?
Yeah, I get that, but still, you didn't have a close match with him either, though. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, which is already slipping my mind. Where was I going with it? Oh,
he lost.
Oh, NCAA wrestling. Again, it depends. Are we talking about NCAA wrestling? Because I think you can obviously make the argument. Well, I shouldn't say obviously. I think I would make the argument Gable is better at freestyle than he is at folk style. And so, Tervel, you saying the fact that you weren't going to beat Mako and Rollins and those guys your senior year of college. Well, maybe that's true, but you were beating the best NCAA wrestlers, and maybe you would have been able to beat Anthony Cassar in a folk style match.
You would have beat him.
I mean, guys, I appreciate gassing me up, but yeah,
You would have beat him. Go
I just
D2s.
don't know if that's the
D2.
case.
I chose D2.
I guess I did beat a couple good guys. I mean, I got third at the Open, but like I'm just trying to equate like Mako and Tommy didn't even matter. Like Gwiz is a 2-time bronze medalist, and this kid went 4-4, 3-3 in 2 matches. He tech-falled Adam Kuhn.
That's a good point. You're right.
I definitely would have
Greco.
been. I definitely would have been. It definitely would have been a better match, college. It definitely would have been a better match in folk style. Seems like.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a good like bearing of like hand fighting in college. I mean, that was kind of when I started to get my feet wet in hand fighting. And this dude, he can hand fight really well.
Yeah,
but I think in folk style he would have pushed me out like 15 times, but it would have been no points, and I maybe stung a low single and got him in the end or something.
Yeah. Remember when you took our freshman? You're like, hey, we're gonna hand fight till one of us can't stand up anymore.
Yeah.
That was pretty mean.
Oh my!
That was good. That was good for him.
That was good for him. He ended up being All-American. Why can't I think of his name right now?
Justin McCain.
McCain, yeah.
McCain.
Give him a shout out here.
What's up, Justin McCain?
Dude, that guy was a beast. Okay, let's keep going here.
I want to get into some stuff. I know we haven't finished quite through all of Tervel's career, but we kind of have. But I want to get into some stuff here that is kind of fascinating with this whole situation. Tervel and I were talking about some of this stuff on the phone earlier today, but okay, so Tervel, tell us about people make the comment, like, oh, well, you didn't, it feels like you didn't even really earn it, or it feels like there are unintelligent people out there, in my opinion, who try to
that.
Yeah, you can. I can say whatever I want. It's my podcast.
Jeez.
Who
That's a fact.
try to say that, because it didn't happen in the moment, like somehow that you didn't earn it or something along those lines. What would be your response to that assertion?
I mean, I don't know. Like, why are you so mean? Like, can I just have this? No, I don't know. I would say, I mean, where do you draw the line? Like, what if he would have like punched me in the face in the match?
And
but it's like, well, that's illegal. But it's like, no, he punched you in the face. That's illegal. But you're the one who was knocked out cold, and he was standing over the top of you.
He pulls a razor blade out and
advance.
slices you.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, where do you draw the line with? Well, like he cheated, but it does. It's a bad picture because obviously he won the match, but it's like, just like everyone knows, it's like a lot of things that happen in your matches have to deal with your preparation, and he just had a huge advantage in his preparation.
Well, yeah, and it's just funny because everybody wants to say stupid stuff like that until they're the person that gets cheated against. And it's like,
and then they're like, I'm a freaking medalist.
Yeah. And we were talking about this earlier today, and like the parallel that I use is like, if you're playing poker with somebody and they cheat, and they, however you cheat at poker, I don't even know how that happens, but they have extra cards or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
I get it.
Come on.
You're not going to just say, well, I should have just tried harder to beat him. You would be like, no, this is freaking unfair. Let's not even play the freaking game because you're literally cheating, and it big time lessens my chances to win. And so it's like, it's objective. People try to not make it objective. It is objective. Like, he cheated, and it's against the rules, and I should not feel any guilt about, winning. And let's be honest, if it wasn't going to be him, you would have had a much better chance of beating whoever Uzbekistan would have put in there if it wasn't him.
Yeah, but let's also be honest. I don't feel too much guilt. I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah. Hey, and that's what I like about you.
But that's because you're thinking about it correctly. That's because you're thinking about it correctly.
I do agree though that. And
but I shake my haters off, Keenan.
You shake them off, dude. Hey, But this is kind of, we've discussed this a lot, of like the mentality that you're supposed to have with wrestling, right? Like, a lot of people are thinking, well, he shouldn't feel right about taking the bronze medal because he should feel like he should have to earn it,
Where are you getting these people? I have had nothing but support. Is there really a lot?
What if they were texting you? What if they're
hey, there's some comments out there. There's some comments out there.
Is there actually a lot?
No, not a lot. Not a lot.
Conscious.
There's not a lot, but there's a few, and it annoys me. But
is it Penn State fans?
Yeah, it's totally Penn State guys. Actually, I think Kayla's one of them that responded.
Dang it!
Yeah,
come on.
Hey, speaking of which, this guy Rick right over next to me, huge Penn State fan. It was super, makes me really angry. Go back and look at our previous episodes. It's just, I'm the only Buckeye up here. Hey,
he loves playing that up. He loves playing that up.
But for real though, this kind of like goes to our topic about like, just work harder than the other guy and the old school wrestling mentality of like, well, you shouldn't accept the medal because you didn't really earn it. It's like, no, think logically here for a little bit. One guy didn't play by the rules, therefore another guy should be allowed. One guy cheated, therefore the other guy wins the match by default.
I mean, the rules are the rules because they make sense, right? No one's like putting rules into place going, man, this will really get people talking.
Yeah.
Like, and number two, like anyone who says they wouldn't take it, like if you train your life, have a dream, come up short, and then a couple of years later find out, hey, by the way, you can be an Olympic medalist, and add this to historically, blah blah blah. Be celebrated as that. Like, who the heck is going to refuse that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and the other thing that I find so fascinating about it is, yes, this isn't as sweet as if, justice would have been done in the moment and somehow...
You were on the medal stand.
Yeah, somehow there was a test that caught him before he wrestled you, and you would have been wrestling in the Olympic finals then. And like, yeah, we are acknowledging this isn't as sweet as in the moment. And that sucks. That sucks for you, and it makes cheating all that much worse. But the point is that it still is sweet, though. Like, it still is justice being served at a later date. And it's just funny that people don't, you're right, 99% of people get it. It's just amazing to me that even 1% of people don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that that's people just being like, I don't know, cynical or something. Just like, well, he just should have done some, because you don't see it argued in like athletic events like track.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard for people to like wrap their, because in wrestling, like, I mean, I beat him the year before, so obviously, could I have beat him even on drugs? Yes. So it's almost like the fact that it could have happened takes away the how wrong it was, right? So it's like, oh, well, you beat him the year before. Why are you complaining about it now? It's like, well, I mean, yeah, I was fortunate to beat him, and then I couldn't do it in the Olympics, but like, you would never see someone be like, well, that guy just, I just can't catch him. He's, he's the 100-meter dash runner. And it's like, oh, steroids were not advantageous. Like, no, like, because in those events, it's like, well, no, there was just no chance I could have won that race unless he tripped. He's just a faster human.
Yeah.
But
that brings up one other interesting topic that we slightly touched on earlier today that I want to just go over briefly. What could be a penalty that would actually deter athletes from using performance-enhancing drugs? And part of this could be, now I'll admit that there is a scenario where maybe, and I don't think this is super likely, but where maybe Tamazov didn't know what his government was giving him. Now, I think at some point in time, when people start just injecting you with stuff and giving you pills and giving you things, you should probably start to question what it is that you're... But there is a scenario where you could see, especially in Russia, where you could see people telling the athletes, oh, this is just a recovery supplement. This is a, whatever. They're having their athletic trainers tell them, oh, this is totally legit. This is good stuff. Not, this is totally legal, and their athletes are taking it. And now whether or not that's what happened with Tamazov or not, I don't know. But I'm just saying that's a plausible explanation that happens to athletes. But what do you do that actually gets people to stop? Because I want Tamazov to be stripped of his world medals too. That's how I feel.
Dang, you're savage. I mean, come on, man. The guy's got to feed his family.
Come on. I agree. Take it away.
But no, okay, so what are your thoughts on, first of all, do some of these athletes not know what they're being given? And
oh, yeah, I mean, I'm sure.
Russia, do you think mostly, or what?
Yeah, I'd imagine. I mean, it's any of the government-sponsored thingamabobbers, majammers, countries.
Yep.
But
okay. Now, next question: what do we do? What is a sufficient penalty, and will the penalty help deter? And if not, what do we do to deter people from cheating?
Is the penalty? I mean, I guess you got to go with. I mean, I don't know. I think the only like true deterrent will be like something like lifetime ban, maybe. But like something extremely.
That's what I think, because that's the only way you're going to get athletes to be like, hey, I'm not going to just even though my athletic trainer or the government is telling me that it's okay to take this, I'm not going to just take it, because we've gotten to a place, unfortunately, in as far as international competition is concerned, where nobody can trust anybody, and you've got to be like, hey, if I want to be totally clean and know that I am clean, I have to be the person who knows what I am actually putting in my body. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And for sure, and honestly, the shaming in that scenario, the shaming is never the support staff, right? Like, the only one embarrassed in this situation is Tamazov. Like, right. No one's going, man, Tamazov's athletic trainer is a scumbag. Like, no, right. Everyone's going, Tamazov's a scumbag. So it's like, so definitely, like, in a scenario where, like, your support staff is, telling you to do something that could possibly, make this situation bad for you or take your medal away. It's like they get all the perks for being like the people that helped you out, and none of the bad stuff.
Right. Yeah.
That's true. Although the way that Tamazov was caught is after the fact, right? I mean, the fact that all of these governing bodies are ahead of the test. And the reason why this is happening 7 years later down the road is because the testing has finally caught up with the people who are trying to, block or to basically get away with this. So that circumstance of lifetime ban doesn't really affect Tamazov at all. So that wouldn't really deter him any more than it would have previously. I feel like the individual, it doesn't need to change, right? I mean, this is the worst thing that could happen to Tamazov is like, hey, I'm getting my medal stripped. He's shamed. There's nothing worse. I mean, taking away his career at this point does no good. I think where we need to be putting our focus in is the governing bodies that are getting multiple athletes stripped, that the government is now, ooh, man, got a good little drag there.
We're looking at pictures right now.
So, but I think, the fact that Russia was allowed to compete at the 2016 Olympics is just beyond me. I think the IOC needs to get stricter on the governing bodies, and hey, Russia, you're not competing because you're a bunch of cheaters. We know you're cheaters. There's a whole list of evidence that show you that you're cheaters, and you're not going to compete in the Olympics because you dope.
Yes, you're right. It might not. It's not going to change anything for Tamazov at this point, but could it change things for future athletes?
But that's
if it's like, oh wow, Tamazov literally doesn't have any world medals or Olympic medals.
But right now, it's the system is put into place of, hey, guess what? we give you this, you will not get caught. It's not going to happen. And so, hey, if he was told in 7 years, this might come up, but you're going to win the Olympics now, I might take it, right? I mean, it's still not a deterrent. The only way it's a deterrent.
It's just maybe not.
No, I mean, yeah, Jeff does have a point because, I mean, the psychology of high-performance athletes is there's a delusion. It's like, I mean, there was a time in my life where I would have been like, yeah, I mean, listen, I'll die at 35 if I'm an Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
I mean, like you will give up a lot of your reality to achieve your dream. And so, I will say, Jeff has a good point with if you're listen, lifetime ban, you're well, how about we get the gold medal first, and then we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. And I don't know, it's just, but I still want, at this point though, I'm like, does it hurt though to try to punish Tamazov more to
I think the one that you brought up is probably, I think if you do a governing body ban, I think then you have so many people's lives that it's almost kind of when the punishment for if your punishment for doing something wrong is extra something,
somebody else has to do it as well as you. It doesn't just affect you, but it affects other people.
I know that some of the tactics sports teams use is if someone misses a practice, whatever the punishment is, they don't do the punishment, the rest of the team gets the punishment or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So that country, but then again, but then it just sucks so bad because it's now you're putting the fate of so many in the few.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, and the thing that is so tough about this is we're talking about vastly different cultures across the entire world that look at life very differently and have different worldviews, and it's just hard. It's messy. That's what's so. And that's what's so special about the Olympic Games is it brings all these people together or the World Championships. It brings everybody together under this unifying thing of sport. But it's like, man, how do you get everybody to play on a level playing field? It's a freaking nightmare these days.
Yeah, it is tough just because, especially like a lot of these countries that are, have the country, the state sponsored doping, also have huge life implications on how you do in your Olympic sport. Where it's
take Tamazov, for instance. He's a freaking, what is he? He's some sort of senator in
Russia.
Yeah. In Russia.
Oh yeah, and it's you go some of them feed right into politicians. Some in Iran you get house with you get a house. You don't have to you get land. You get livestock. You get all kinds of stuff that sets you up for life.
So we were talking about how this changes your life. Does it change Tamazov's life at all? He's set up for life because of these medals that he didn't win. And does it really change his life? Because
that's what
everybody that's
around
him is supporting this anyway, right? The culture is do whatever it takes to win. Ah, man, sorry you got caught for cheating, but is it really? In America, it's really bad. But where he's at, if that's accepted in the culture, it maybe doesn't really change his life.
Yeah. And I don't know. And that's what I was wondering is what's the extent of the countries? Because living the dream medal fund, right? I'm obviously hoping, and USA Wrestling has kind of hinted toward the fact that I will be getting this Living the Dream. If I got, if Jordan Burroughs gets 7 years later, gets positive, is he obligated to pay back $250,000?
Yeah, that's a fascinating point.
Because these guys get millions of dollars to win the Olympics. Are they going to literally go up to Tamazov and say, "Hey, you owe us $3 million for the last 2 Olympics that you didn't win"?
Well, if now he is Uzbek, so so we don't know. But let's just hypothetically say it was a Russian state-sponsored doping issue, then I would definitely sure as heck hope not, since they were the ones forcing him to do it. Like, well, I'm just saying if it's the country that's paying.
Yeah.
If the country is paying out.
And let's be
in
clear.
Some fashion.
Let's be clear. This guy is a Russian, right? I mean, he competed for Uzbekistan, but the reason why he competed for Uzbekistan is because when he first wrestled in the Olympics in 2000, he was not able to beat the Russian. Am I right, Tervel?
That's what they say.
So he went to compete for Uzbekistan. Once you defect and go to a different country, you're not allowed to go back. Correct?
Correct.
So
by UWW rules or by what?
I believe it's UWW rules that you're only able to transfer, countries one time. But so he spent 4 Olympics competing for Uzbekistan because the first Olympics he couldn't beat the Russian athlete. So he's from Russia, and this was the country, and maybe this brings up a whole other, topic of should we allow athletes who do not actually reside in that country to compete for a completely different country. But he's Russian. This guy's Russian. Taymazov is around people and was brought up in a culture in which do whatever it takes to win. This is doping, and this is just a part of their culture. It makes sense for them to do it.
And it could be like that in Uzbekistan too.
Right.
I mean, it's just so fascinating when you different cultures are going to value and have different expectations. Like Cubans, the reason why supposedly, in Tervel, you have more insight on this than I do, obviously, but the reason why so many Cubans have thrown wrestling matches is because they have lived in essentially a communist society where they don't get to keep their winnings for their tournament. Their winnings go back to their government and are redistributed to, either the government or to everybody, or I don't know exactly how that works, but right? I mean, that's why Cubans are throwing matches or have in the past.
Yeah, well, and I don't even know if they're. I mean, they don't because obviously there's no winning. There's no winning at the Olympics, right? There's no money on the podium, so a lot of it has to do with your country, and their country's poor, so it's not even like they're winning goes to the country. It's their country doesn't pay them. I mean, I know that like Milan Lopez, 3-time Olympic champion Greco, was freaking. I mean, he makes $300 a month. They told us.
Holy cow!
That was his prize for being Olympic champ.
That's insane.
Wow. That is insane.
$300 a month.
All right, hey,
he's like 18-time world Olympic champion.
Jeez. Okay, hey, we're getting long here. We're a little bit past an hour, so I want to kind of speed things up a little bit. Some rapid fire questions here, a little bit, all right, for you. And
hit him
finish
with
things up. It's like almost midnight here in Nebraska, and about 1 a.m. Tervel, we appreciate you grinding with us. All right. Question 1. Does the Ohio State University, have the best room in the country, the best wrestling room in the country?
TOSU.
I mean, I'd like to think so. Obviously, I mean, it's hard once you get like super sweet room, then definitely not a. It's hard to compare. So it's like, well, I mean, then it's like preference, right? So at some point it becomes
preference.
What do you like?
So what are some other cool rooms?
I was going to say, that's just what I was going to say. Who's up there with Ohio State?
I haven't been to a ton, but I really like Michigan's.
Okay.
I really like Oklahoma has a nice room.
Nebraska's is nice.
Nebraska's is really nice. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of the Big Ten schools have really nice rooms. So yeah, but I think like ours is super shiny and new at the moment. So definitely, I mean, it's really big. 5 mats. I love it. I think our locker room is one of the best that I've ever been in. So to me, I think I don't want anything else besides what we have. I don't need anything else. So to me, I would answer that question with heck yeah. Like there's nothing else you need. We got everything. But again, at some point, it's like, well, what's your preference?
There was a nice little open house at the Cavelli Center today, right?
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. A little showcase of what a duel might look like.
Oh, yeah, dude.
They should have put you and Kyle Snyder out on the mat and just said go.
Man, that would have sucked.
That leads me to my next question. What is it like to train Kyle Snyder?
Oh, it's cool, man. He keeps you on your toes. He's always, he's a learner. He's always trying to learn something, get better. So it keeps me as a coach, trying to be very creative and loving it. So he's a great individual, man. He's just fun to be around. He's trying to figure stuff out all the time. He's good people, so he's easy to root for. It's awesome.
Nice. All the listeners out there, watch Flow Wrestling's documentary of Kyle Snyder's experience at Final X. It was pretty cool. Highly recommend. All right, a couple more here, and we're going to let you go. Tervel Dlagnev Day in Kearney, Nebraska. When is it? What do we need to do? We should just basically get everybody to Kearney, Nebraska on Tervel Dlagnev
Shoot, let's
Day.
have one, and let's freaking just have one like the whole Midwest. Tervel Dlagnev Day. Midwest Dlagnev Day.
How about this? I'll change the question. What date should be the Tervel Dlagnev Day in the Midwest? What's your preferred date?
November.
Come on,
what's
man.
your birthday?
Like, that's, first of all, that's kind of cheesy,
Well,
fact that,
I mean, you're an Olympic bronze medalist. You need to start acting like one now.
This is how it changes your life, bro.
is that how we're gonna live this? Is that how we're gonna live this life?
Yep, that's how we're gonna do it.
Yep.
It's just
Olympic medalists get days.
Olympic medalists do the thing. All right. No, I think Kearney, Nebraska. It's like June something, right?
Yeah, it's June something. I want to know what the actual date, though. You don't even know what your own day is.
Well, yeah, but
speak to the people about Kearney, Nebraska. What do you think about Kearney, Nebraska?
Oh my gosh, I love Kearney, Nebraska.
It's the
Love
best.
K-Town.
It's so
Love
great.
K-Town.
I mean, people make fun of me all the time because, like, even Nebraska in general, I'm like, man, Nebraska, great state, love it. And they're like, stop. And I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. I freaking love Nebraska. It's just, I had such a great experience. The people, everybody did. It's just good times in Nebraska we had.
It's the good life, bro. It's the good life.
It
Hey,
really
just
is.
for the
It's a very-
viewers,
it's a
who
very
would typically win when Jeff would put you up on his shoulder in a double leg, and he had basically from the signal of go to put you down on the couch in a 2-point takedown? Who would get the best out of like a 3 out of 5 exchange out of that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I was typically, I was 70-30 in that exchange.
Yeah.
Dude, my right shoulder is just like, I think it sinks a little bit below my left shoulder.
I'm surprised his chicken legs could freaking get you off the ground.
Dude, I had some power.
You had to
those
like
days.
help him up. You had to stand on like the arm of the couch and like prop yourself up on his shoulder to get.
Yeah, and his legs were like the cartoon chicken where they're all shaky and stuff.
Dang it! It's true though. It sucked, but I finished one every 10 maybe somewhere around there.
You got there just like me. 7 years later, you got there.
7 years
Yep,
later.
7
dude,
years later,
At some
baby.
point, your back is
7
you're
years
not gonna be
later.
able to move. Like you're in a wheelchair, and I'm just gonna come deck you.
Yeah, but in collegiate, no chance. Especially now, my
It's gonna
defense
be-
has gotten freaking rock solid.
When you're in a wheelchair.
No, like I'm talking like right now, mano y mano.
Oh,
Right.
well, yeah. I'm not touching you, mano y mano.
It's gonna be right after you win your Olympic gold medal, and Jeff just comes in and just decks you.
You're like, I got my gold medal, and then I just like, I want that, and I take you out. That's how it's done. Okay, here we go. Favorites, real quick. Favorites. TCBY ice cream. What's your favorite order?
I want to say it was originally the cookie dough monster, but I think by the end of my TCBY career, I ended up with strawberry cheesecake.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Doing cookie dough monster like
rookie.
that. So, does
White-
TCBY exist anymore?
White chocolate mousse.
I think it might be
not
done.
in Lincoln. It doesn't.
That stinks.
Yeah, it's not very prevalent anywhere.
I don't think it's even in Kearney anymore.
Dang it. Okay, movies. What's your favorite movie?
Big Fish.
About time.
Oh yeah, good one.
It used to be Big Fish, but it's definitely about time now.
Dang it, dude! You just made me look like an idiot in front of the viewers.
I could have told you that.
No, but hey, I salvaged it.
Yeah.
You got
He
it.
did.
That's
I
true.
mean, yeah, good guess, but you're an idiot. Okay, favorite video game, considering you were playing right before we got on.
Gosh, that's a tough one because I've been funneling through. So right now, currently, I'm playing through the gauntlet of Resident Evil, and it is incredibly addictive. Because
Power Sword level 10.
Oh yeah, all right, guys.
This is more like these zombies are gonna eat your face off, so you better blow their face off.
Oh man. All right. Favorite wrestling move / hold. Do you call it a wrestling move or do you call it a wrestling hold?
No one calls it a wrestling hold.
Granby System does. I'll tell you that much.
Them Granby System, Granby School wrestling boys call it a hold.
Dude, I've been watching Stevie Martin teach Granbys on Flow.
Yeah.
And he's so old, and he can freaking whip those Granbys.
It's called a high-low.
Yeah, he does both.
High-low. I do like the high-low.
Yeah.
So I would say my favorite wrestling move would be. It used to be the low single, but it's currently the near side cradle off the leg defense.
No, you know that.
Like by far. Like actually, it's my only move.
What is your favorite only move? All right, cradle from single leg.
Didn't you say you're unstoppable on like college incoming freshmen? On like it's literally impossible for them to not get pinned out of
like anyone who's like under 180 pounds and can't wrestle that well can't stop me.
So not me. Okay, last one, most important one. Your favorite college roommate.
Oh boy.
Favorite college roommate, Larry Perez.
Yeah, okay.
We got there.
Dang it.
I knew it.
You know Larry's out there just beaming right now.
Just shout him out.
He's going to find this, and he's going to be...
What's up, Larry?
He's going to find this. He's going to be happy.
Oh, man. Hey, good answer. Well
Come
done.
on,
I can't even be mad about that.
I mean, I can't choose between you guys.
No, that's why I said Larry was a great pick.
I know, because I love you. I love
Quality
you guys.
pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
We love you too, Tervel. We appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you.
And, being with us here since you're, newly minted bronze medal. We're proud of you, man.
Olympic bronze medalist. I like the sound of that.
We talked a little bit about it, in all seriousness. That was the 2012 Olympics was difficult, and watching you have to go through that pain. But I think the way that you responded to that and the way that you grew as a human being past that was really impressive. And then just, 7 years later to be able to celebrate kind of with you this bronze medal, it's pretty cool.
We're proud of you, brother.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, man. It means a lot. Hopefully I get back to Nebraska pretty soon so we can.
That's right.
We can kick it.
Yeah. Hey, actually, you will, because on August 10th, you will be at Lincoln East High School, the school in which Coach McCurdy and I are co-head coaches at, and you will be doing a clinic, how to train like an Olympian. Maybe we should change it to how to train like an Olympic bronze medalist.
I like that.
We like that.
All right.
Well, little resume boost.
Yep, little resume boost. We gotta change the flyer.
Hey, you guys come out. Anyone around the area, come out. I'm gonna teach some sick leg D. I'm gonna teach some creative stuff, guys. It's gonna be fun.
I'm pretty pumped for it.
All right.
Love you, brother.
With that, we are going to outro, ladies and gentlemen. Signing off.
Hey, whoa. Are we done?
Not yet.
Okay, can I say one more thing?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I want to shout out real quick. Fargo just finished up. We've got 2 All-Americans, Spartan All-Americans. Can we do this on this?
Absolutely. 100%.
Max Mayfield, 6th place, 145 pounds, junior All-American. He now is bumped up to number 9 in the country in the latest Flow rankings. So that's pretty awesome. Shout out to Max. And then our boy Keith Smith medaled. He was 6th All-American at 6th for the cadets, or it's like 16 and under.
Cadet Greco, yep.
Greco. So shout out to those guys. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for being with us here, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, and God bless.